Salam. Phenix, Ramadan, LJacksun, back in the light about Brazeera. This is video 4. And as we said, okay, so the have-nots and the have no debts and the debtors. Okay, and the debtors are persecuted if they don't repay their loan. The debtors, the non-debtors are the EBTers are challenged because they didn't buy into the system. They didn't pay into the system in regards to buying commercial education or career training. So they just took their chances basically on the street in regards to, minimum wage jobs and the challenge that excuse me, of not generating the income to meet their needs. You know what I'm saying? Well, no, I wouldn't even go there. They're not. Well, yeah. Okay, minimum wage. Okay, for their services. Okay, the amount of income that they are generated is minimum wage. Okay, so that makes them the non-debtors. Because they didn't pay for formal education, whereby they're supposed to be able to afford more income, generate more income. But education in that area, those in certain areas, well, no, just life, the way life is structured in certain environments, make it more challenging to pursue one's dreams, commercial dreams and aspirations. Okay, so they fall short of the glory of the commercial world or the bubble. Okay, and they have to pay for it. Okay, for not buying into the dream, not buying into the system. And that's what I mean by dual system of education. We have one formal system and one informal, whereby one goes for formal education, commercial education, and whereby one just is left to what come what may in regards to, seeking employment with basically minimum wage versus maybe non-minimum wage. Okay, so now that's where another distinction comes in: minimum versus non-minimum. Okay, okay, and most of the EBTs are minimum wage. Are challenged with minimum wage because of the structure of the environment and the commercial opportunities in those environments. Okay, industry generally doesn't locate to economically stressed environments. Yeah. Well, no, well, kind of they do, but well, let's go with Simi Valley. Okay, you won't find there's no Simi Valley in the hood. Okay, there's just no goddamn Simi Valley in the hood. And it's not that a Simi Valley wouldn't work in the hood, because believe me, they are competent enough to deal with a fucking Simi Valley. Okay, they really, really are. And it's not just black people in the hood; it's all kind of people in the hood. But my point is, they're challenged in the hood. Okay, I believe when on Fridays, that movie Fridays, and the guy, or was it the rapper, Ice Cube, I think it was, and he said either they don't know, they won't show, or they don't care. Because it's a lot going on out there, in those challenges community. And let's not even go with the challenges, the hoods. We got some white hoods, we got some Mexican hoods, we got some, black hoods. We got a lot of hoods. Okay. I think that's why Trayvon Martin was murdered, because what? He was wearing a hood. Okay, a hoodie. Okay. So a lot of things happen in the hood. Okay, that ain't no good. But anyway, they're commercially challenged. If there were jobs, people get busy. There was money to be made, people get, well, we won't even go there. It's not about money being made. It's about opportunity to pursue one's dream, one's destiny, one's born identity. The chances are slim in the hood when the person is challenged by a lot of things. Okay, and a history of it. Let's not forget, there's a freaking history of this. Okay, and if we continue with the open door policy of the prison system, okay, it's going to continue. Okay, a lot of people are in those educational system because the prison system gives a education too. Okay, it's all another form of alternative education. That's why they call it the revolving door. Okay, because they go in and out, in and out, in and out, continuous cycle. Because when they go out, what's there to go out for? It's the same thing. They go back out to the same thing and same type of community, no growth. Okay, of living one's dreams, you know. And what do they say? Oh, sports and all this kind of stuff. Again, inherent talent. But rap started with inherent talent too. I mean, I know it's deviated, but in regards to the message that it sends, but nonetheless, it was an industry that started out of what would I say? Oh, okay. It was started out of born identity, okay, and need, okay, need to express that, and the challenges that they face, that is faced, okay. So the prison population is no accident. It's a sweatshop. It's an enslavement, and that's why they give the consecutive life sentences, you know, and imprisoning children, because the longer the child stays in, the more he's gonna produce in that system, under that system. So that's slavery, and the children are kidnapped off the street. What? And from the courtrooms, yeah. Okay, with these consecutive life sentences for harmless crimes or non-violent crimes. Yeah. So that has to stop too. The enslavement, white collar crime, okay, 'cause that's enslaving, educate the debtors. You know, that's enslaving them with debt, because they enter young too, just like the door opens for the prisons for those in the non-debtors and those who didn't pay their debt to society, and it opens for those who paid their debt. If they don't pay it back, then they become criminals because they didn't pay their debt to society. They didn't repay their debt to society. You know. So, and they start at 21 too. The door opened for them at 21 too. You know, the prison door opens for them at 21 because they signed on that dotted line. They signed their mama's name on the dotted line. Okay, so that needs to stop on both sides. The enslavement of the educated young, the form of the commercially educated young, and the informally educated young. You know, who get educated through the underclass, underserved. Social communities, okay. So, and they, like I said, they both start. And now they're sending, you know, what, 15-year-olds to prison. That's so they can work longer, okay. Because what's going on? Why is this going on? You need to ask, okay. Now, so. Okay, we said it's guilty of a debtor's prison. Okay, buying into those who didn't buy in. Okay, so those who didn't buy in and choose to work the minimum wage, well, they don't choose, but they're more guided toward the minimum wage because it's about opportunity, commercial opportunity, what's in the community, what's around. Okay, and the responsibilities the person has, because the person who educated themselves, they have kids too, you know, and then that pays the reason why they can't pay their debt. They got bills to pay. You know, because by the time they graduate, they, like, you know, sometimes 25, 26, or 27, and then they got to move back home with mom. And if they want to move out, you know, they still got to pay their debt, their financial obligations for rent and or mortgage or what have you. You see what I'm saying? So so they don't always have money to pay that $500 debt back to society, back to the government. Okay. The government. Anyway, so they're enslaved. The young are enslaved. Those who are in the more upper class, economic class, they, you know, they're challenged with prison too. Okay, and they're fearful. That's why they workaholics, and that's why they work like dogs. Okay, now, because they ain't trying to go to prison. They ain't trying to. Okay, now, um, okay. So they're proven guilty when they don't pay their debt. Those EBTers are guilty because they didn't pay their debt. See what I'm saying? They didn't acquire any debt, so they're guilty for that. Everybody got to pay a debt to society. Everybody got to get a commercial education, but it's still a debt, and they got to pay it back. Now, and remember at the opening line, I said, if taken out of nature, if one is taken out of their nature, then they should be compensated or they should be re-educated because the nature is the character, what propensity of the character of the being, the direction they have to go in life. So if the propensity is changed, then if the propensity is altered, okay, as we said, then the education nurturing there should be no cost. Okay, because if the person was still in their natural environment, they would need no formal commercial education. But because we now the life is technologically more advanced, okay, then to learn how to function in this society, one has to have an education. How it works, how the new system works. So that should be free. That shouldn't be a charge, Now, or else a person's gonna what? Let their nature rise, So, and reinstitute their God-given nature. But what we say as children, they try to plug the God consciousness in, and they don't find it in the market. They only find the market consciousness, and that's competition. That's force. That's aggression. That's authoritarian. That's rigid. That's dictatorial, if that's a word. That's dictatorship, basically. That's what is another? Conformity. You know what I'm saying? So one has to transform themselves when going into the market to catch a commercial education. They leave all that behind. Okay? So, okay. Now so then when they get through the system and come out, they got to get re-educated again to be natural, to be themselves again, because they got a commercial consciousness. Okay? Okay. Okay, so we said those are guilty for not paying debt, and those are guilty if they don't repay the debt. Now, although as long as oh yeah, and in the commercial in the bubble, the commercial bubble, of course there's no compassion in there. There's no empathy, there's no mercy. A commercial mercy, commercial empathy, where we give we don't give to the man on the street, we give to, big body charities, the United Way, the Red Cross, that's when we give our charity. And again, I'm not knocking that, I'm not bashing that, because those organizations really help, they contribute to global society. However, your man on the street counts too, okay? But they got to come out. And remember, we talked about the humanitarian aspect the children get when they are in homeschool, those formative years from 1 to 5 or 0 to 5, okay? And then they enter the bubble and there's nowhere to plug that. So now we see the lack of, and what we have, the conscious aggression, the force, the bear market, the competition, if I didn't say that already. So all that is, instilled you know. And to get out, to get through it, to re-educate themselves, as we said, to get back to become an EBTer. Okay. Okay. And again, that's a person who just pursues. Well, not just pursues, but sees the whole. Can see the whole. You know. Okay. 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 So what I say here, they couldn't hear me with. Okay. Okay.
There he is.
Okay. So Okay. So now one must always be. Pick him. One must always be in good standing. A debtor must always be in good standing with his loan officer, just as the EBTer, you know, must be in good standing with their parole officer if they're fortunate enough to get out the sweatshop. To be paroled from the sweatshop. Because it's a business. The prison industry is a business. And these poor, you know, unfortunate people have to be incarcerated. And that is unfair to do their bit of slavery. See what I'm saying? That's forced slavery. The other one is, well, either way. Either way, it's catch-22 because either they get the education, they still got to pay the back. They're taxed, they're married to the system, basically. Married to the market. And then the, you know, the opposite. So it's catch-22, you know. One just has the invisible bars, the illusion of freedom, you know, but it's really serfdom. It's all serfdom. One is just still in the plantation and one is not. Or one appears to be not. But as long as they, you know, are living not in their integrity, they have displaced integrity. They're not living their true self. And as long as they're attached to, you know, bondage through debt, you know, enslaved through that. And that's unfortunately the way it is. That's the way it's instituted, you know. So now what do you say? Okay, so one has to report to the loan officer, the other to the probation officer. Okay, one's more harsh than the other. One's more abrasive. One's right in the face. Okay, and the other one is a gentle, kind enslavement. Okay, when you go to apply for that loan or that mortgage or what have you. Okay, it's still another form. Well, that's not the debt we're talking about. We're talking about the student loan debt where they can't get away from it. So it's a more kinder and gentle form of slavery versus the one right in your face. Okay? Now, so we talked about that. Now, okay, what did we say? As long as as long as they comply with their loan officer, they're in good standing and they won't be any force or no physical force. One is physical and one is administrative. There's administrative enslavement and one is physical enslavement. Okay? Just like the world, black and white, above and below. One is mental and one is physical. The physical behind the bars, the mental in their mind and through their pocketbook. Okay? It's illusion. Now, so we say one reports to the loan officer, okay? They are only both are forms of debt. One has to pay the debt, the EBT, to society. One has to pay, and his is physical, okay? And one is administrative, as we said. Okay, but they're both debts. Okay, that is unforgivable, and the EBT. Well, both are unforgivable. Okay, but one has to really well, they're both unforgivable. Okay, because as I said, they're imprisoning children, and you know, and these consecutive life sentences. Now, and another thing, not only does the economy break up families for those who pay their debt, are paying their debt, but the ones who are incarcerated to pay their debt. You know what I'm saying? That breaks up, both break up families, but the physical form of an enslavement really breaks up the family and, the families. And especially since the ratio of African Americans are imprisoned, that look what it does to the family. Look at the integrity of the family, okay? And calling women bitches and hoes, that don't help the situation either. This new rap game with calling women bitches and hoes and all this kind of stuff, that don't help the black family. And the stuff, the you know what, and all this kind of stuff, and the videos I posted of little children doing this stuff, that don't help the black family either. That don't help the family. That don't help the nation. You see what I'm saying? So, and degrading women, that don't help the nation. Degrading black women, that don't help the nation. Okay? It just don't. Trying to repress the black woman, that don't help the nation. And I'm telling you straight. Okay? It just don't. Trying to demean her through bitches and hoes, tricks and all that kind of stuff ain't good to just, you know what? That needs to stop. Seriously. Black women are more than that. Seriously. Okay? That seriously needs to stop. And with ladies, if you out there bumping bitches and hoes, I mean, we can call each other bitches, just like, you know what I'm saying? We can call each other bitches because we do that, the women together. But as far as, it being, part of PR, bad PR, especially for black women, okay? I don't see black women like that, okay? I just don't see myself like that, indignant like that. Okay, I see myself, subhanAllah, as a exceedingly beautiful woman first, beautiful female, and the fact that I'm black only makes me better, and y'all better fucking know it. Seriously. Okay, so enough of that denigration of the black woman. Okay, the target. Okay, the humiliation. Okay, now. And enough of the humiliation of the woman, period. Okay? See, but I'm addressing that black woman because they keep her on the bottom. Don't want her to rise. Don't want her to ascend. What, ain't our woman? When it said the woman want to change things and the men better let them. I just saw that one day. That was funny. Anyway, that was, I think, Harriet Tubman. Okay? When she addressed... What was that? Antebellum? No, the antebellum time? I think that's what it was. I'm not certain. I remember it was something. I have to check it out. You check it out, but that's when Harriet Tubman gave that speech. Ain't I a woman? Okay? To be respected. Okay? And if you don't respect the black woman, respect yourself, okay? Because my thing is, I don't really honestly, I really don't give a fuck what they think about me, because it's like, if you don't know what I'm thinking, you can't think for me. I don't care what you think, because it's like, if you're trying to think what I'm thinking, you're going to think wrong anyway, because nobody can read somebody's mind. So why should I give a fuck about what you think? And yes, I am using this KFC language, because that's the passion to which I feel about this denigration of beautiful, sensual, intellectual, conscious black sisters and sisters in general, because black, white, or what have you, they still my sisters, okay? But some have it a bit more harder than others. Okay, are a bit more socially challenged than others, and then the prison system for the females, that too. You see what I'm saying? A lot of victimless crimes in there, not victim crime, but non-violent crimes. Okay, that start there. and that will help the debt, because that's where we're going next in this conversation about the debt, because the dollar, the debt there. See what I'm saying? And why in prison, the new America's sweatshops and the schools are their administrative sweatshops. Okay, student loans, which if they change the nature, okay, then you know what I'm saying, they need to change the game of educating, because empire building has changed the nature of humanity, the way mankind lives. So they're entitled to an education, not just public, not just and that's why I said EBT is public education, the one you don't have to pay for. Okay, those are the EBTers. Those are the ones that are targeted for capture and the sweatshop. The physical enslavement. Okay, when you go to school, get the administrative enslavement, and then you get to taxes. Not only that, well, but we talk about student loan. Okay, so we won't go there. Okay, anyway, okay, so if they're good standing, they won't be harassed. But that involves getting jobs most times that they weren't trained for, and staying with them for a very long time. Because how long can they remain single, trying to pursue their dream? They're going to have to restructure their life and get married and have kids and all this, but they still got the debt ceiling. Okay. Anyway, so as we said, student loans are the only form of debt that is unforgivable and punishable by criminal law. What the hell is that? And the national debt is said to be over $70 billion. I know that they say that it was, someplace circles it's 17 billion, but or trillion, yeah, $1 trillion. And so but and one guy came on and said it's over that, and I'll post that video, but that's only because they were trying to curb social spending, which with social spending, we don't have to freaking spend if it's no cost to education. Higher education, and as we said, a doctorate degree in and of itself does not guarantee a person to work in that profession. And whether it be a doctorate degree, a doctorate in business, a doctorate in psychology, or what have you. You know what I'm saying? There are still psychologists that can't even find a job. And that's another reason for the prison industrial complexes. But not only for the people who can't find jobs, but the population. You got to remember, the population is going up, growing strong, becoming more, right? And the job market is shrinking. So what are they going to do with all these people if and they're educated too? So it makes no difference if they're educated, because the schools are producing more certified employees, through their degrees, of course. And there's no jobs. There's got to be a place to house all these people. You know what I'm saying? To control the crime rate. That will be a result of unemployment. You see what I'm saying? There's massive unemployment. And would it be really a crime if people want to feed themselves? It ain't a crime because you get hungry. Okay? Now, I'm not advocating going out and hurting somebody or taking something by force. I'm not advocating that at all. But what I'm saying is you can't criminalize somebody who's really hungry. Okay? Give them some food. If they're entitled to it. Okay? Now, I know we can't go out and hunt these days. However, that's just the way things are because y'all changed it. Okay? Now, I'm used to it the way it is. Of course, don't want to go back to hunting, and I do like things kind of clean where I can wash my hands after, I garden or something. But nonetheless, the hygiene is great. But now we here, so we got to deal with that. So we need new means of educating our young, where we don't enslave them today to pay the debt that was incurred by military spending. And Social Security is not the one that's taking the biggest chunk, and education is not the one that's taking the biggest chunk. So if we save on prison industrial complex by really educating our young and freeing them of the debt based upon their inherent gifts, their born identity, we have a more what is that, GDP? A greater GDP, and be able to pay our debt, our national debt. okay, because the earning um, ratio would heighten, okay, for the individual, and that's why, and we're at that time right now where we need our manpower, our economic power is going to be where it was before, but it was held by the corporations. You know, where we work for the corporations, and the corporations, basically represented, as I said, the country. So now it's the people have to represent themselves. We talked about that before. The people have to represent themselves based upon what they can do and networking together. And that's why we got to get rid of all this animosity toward each other, the haves and the have-nots, and those are in prison, because pretty soon what's going to happen, the market's going to get so tight, so freaking tight, that the haves with the education, the debtors are going to look at the non-debtors in the prisons and say, dang, they're the ones who are taking the money, like the welfare queens. They're the ones who's taking the money, who's creating this strain on society where they can't even eat. They paid all this money to get their education, and they can't even find jobs, and these people are living free in the prison and medical care and all this kind of stuff. See what I'm saying? So let's kill them. Let's euthanize them. Okay, let's experiment on them. Why not? Let them be our military. Let's exploit them further. That's a victimless crime. Exploit the victim further. After all, they are, what? A weight on society. So you could see the mass killing of people in prison. You know what I'm saying? So it can, many things it can happen. And then what? A big race riots as a result of this, race wars within the country, because the economy is so freaking anal, so tight. Okay, now, okay, and they're both slaves, killing slaves. Okay, and okay, now for the same thing. Okay, because one hates the other because he has some, and the other one in prison because he think he because of him he was put there. It wasn't because of him. It wasn't because of the debtor that he was put there. It was because he didn't pay the debt. He got there. Okay, he didn't pay the debt to his debt to society. He's not paying any debt to society, so he got to go to prison to pay the debt. Because everybody got to pay the debt. Everybody got to pay total line, right? So, okay, now. So the debt is unforgivable, and then punishable by law, right? By felony. Okay, so I said, what the hell is going on? Okay, debt is said to be over $1 trillion, but some say it's 17. Okay, now we said we cut the debt, we cut the prison rate, we cut the military, we can cut some debt, we can get into our born identity, and as it relates to our integrity, educate ourselves based upon our integrity, then become producers in society. Not debtors in society, but producers in society, bring our own GDP up and pay the national aid in paying the national debt and aid in healing our own dollar. You see what I'm saying? Because we don't want to be a debt nation and be selling off our military hardware, our institutions. You know what I'm saying? So we don't want to have to pay off our country. Anyway. So okay. Now, so the country is going bankrupt. The country is bankrupt. And as we said, so that's why I'm saying, that's why children, when they enter school, sign their mother's maiden name on the dotted line, and to become a slave for life, or go to prison, okay? Or go to prison and become a slave in the workshop. That is why, as a child, doing all this as a child, they need children, because they need somebody to pay this debt, continue paying these debts. You see what I'm saying? So that's the direction it's going. The children pay this debt either through their education, pursuing their academic dreams, or not pursuing them, or not pursuing their commercial dreams. You see what I'm saying? And slave at minimum wage, and then have to be subject to victimization and harassment, and potentially in prison. Physically in prison. Because the others are in prison too. They're in prison to their debt. Okay? Okay, so we, as I said, now we need to re-educate ourselves so we can become on enterprising. We can become entrepreneurs and enterprising ourselves, and then we can contribute to repaying this debt. You know, bit by bit, and save our you know our this country and our souls too. You know, now. So we said, okay. So so the currency is losing its value and becoming equivalent to the Egyptian pound, which the Egyptian pound, last that I know it, okay, was well, how far down? Oh, I got to stop. Okay.